point, a couple of people did come into the meeting, and they had big banners that said something along the lines of, FERC is complicit in the oil business, and they're bad, and they're destroying the planet. And they released the banners, and they started shouting, and eventually, because they started shouting, they were asked to leave. So that was about the extent of the interaction between the protesters and the commissioners. So after seeing this, I was just thinking, and the points Stoneherder weren't too specific. It was mostly just about, we need to stop using fossil fuels, and you are bad for encouraging their use in any way. So when I left the meeting, I stepped outside and I said, I approached the protesters, and they saw me in the suit. And again, this is how I dress for work. I sometimes don't wear the flag pin, but this is pretty much how I dress for work. And I walked up to him and I said, hey, you could have gone inside the meeting and, talked to the FERC commissioners one-on-one to express your views. It would have been easy. And they just kind of shouted at me. And then at one point when they stopped shouting, they just said, there's some value to that, but we think there's also value in what we're doing, which is raising awareness. So maybe. I actually had another meeting that I was going to attend the next day that had a bunch of other commissioners from the state of New York as well. And I said, hey, there's another big meeting coming on. Again, publicly available. Anybody can show up and talk to the commissioners about your beliefs with respect to energy. You should definitely show up and talk to them. And they said, yeah, sure, where is it? And my boss is looking at me like, why are you telling these people where this meeting is? And I was like, well, yeah, sure. It's right here, here, and here. Look forward to seeing you when it starts at X o'clock. They didn't show up. But that's kind of my original, my first experience with people kind of hostile to the fossil fuel industry. It was I don't know. I didn't really know what to make of it, because on the one hand, I really sympathized with the goal. And yet they seemed kind of less interested in sort of official channels, and more interested, I guess, in, what would you say, peacocking, maybe, trying to demonstrate a point, but, without actually talking to the people who can do something about your point, right? Because the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission just signaling, that's the word. Because the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is imbued with immense power, right? So, even a chance to chat with these folks and make a profound point, really can make a difference. And remember, these folks, after they leave the commission, they oftentimes go back to private industry, but they oftentimes get involved in politics themselves. So, again, talking to them, I think really can make a difference. Now, you may or may not think that, but I think it's something worth doing. So, Tazkid Noah says, Boss, you do your job, but you knife your own job's mission. Well, I don't think so at all. At the end of the day, there's no reason that fossil fuel companies can't also sell renewable energy. At the end of the day, it's just another kind of investment that you can spend money on to try and make money on, And sure enough, the company I work with actually does, or rather one of the companies I work with, actually does build solar arrays on its own. So that's something. It's one of the biggest projects I've worked on. And let's see, Rose Pepper says, do you think Greta Thunberg... yeah, I mean, she says she is. It's on her Twitter profile. Now, Pollywobble says Greta would destroy Boston with her charming demeanor. Maybe. I think that what Greta Thunberg is doing is really cool. She's raising awareness in a really powerful way. What she said, though, is she's actually said, well, yeah, I thought she said it on her profile that she is. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but let me switch the music here. Okay.
I do have permission from Bastier to play this content. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Twitter as well. Because I'm pretty sure that I'm live on YouTube and I'm live on Twitter. Okay. And maybe even...
so yeah, if she is
maybe even another place. But we're trying multi-streaming for the first time ever, so I have a connected
says,
chat.
Would you like to work on more of those clean energy products your company's doing? Well, absolutely, I already do. What I do is a little
I want to hear what he does.
It's hard for a lot of folks to kind of wrap their head around, but I'll try and do my best to explain it. So I don't work in your traditional energy sector, which is to say a utility company. In the United States, in most of the United States, and in most of the world writ large, utilities are a monopoly function, which is to say utilities, electricity, natural gas are provided by one provider, a single public utility monopoly. And sure enough, of course, this is an idea that has been baked into our national consciousness. After all, think about how we provide these services in the United States. And sure enough, think about how they've even seeped into our culture, right? I mean, the electric company is the monopoly, right? So what I do is, in the USA, there are some parts of the country that are open to competition with natural gas and electricity supplies. In the 1970s, the federal government started to deregulate the prices of natural gas. It was a long process. It took about 20 to 30 years to get it all underway. But the United States took the process of pricing natural gas and changed it from something that was essentially state regulated, set by the state, and left it to the private market to set. And the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission went from a rate-setting body, and it still sets some rates. It still sets some of the prices for natural gas. It went from being primarily a rate-setting body to an entity that now does a lot of basically competition policing, ensuring that everybody plays by the rules of a competitive marketplace. So when you think about natural gas pipelines, for example, there's only one set of pipelines you can really have in any given area. You can't run two giant. And folks, why are we talking about Greta Thunberg? She's literally a child. There's nothing. There's no reason to pick on her or to mock her or any of that. I mean, there's nothing to be gained there. So I don't want any of that in here. And folks who want to kind of heckle her. Again, that's so not what I want to talk about here tonight, at all. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to tell you a little bit about like how energy really works in this country, at least what I do with it. So yeah, I mean, she makes people care about the issue, and frankly, if you don't care about the issue, then who cares about her? If you do care about the issue, she's doing something worthwhile. All right, I like what Real Altruist is saying. Give me the firking facts, man. Indeed. So I work in natural gas primarily and electricity. Natural gas is now increasingly a competitively supplied service. So that is to say that companies compete to transport natural gas over pipelines and then to sell it to end-use customers at a lowest possible price. Not every state allows this, but a lot of states are allowing it, especially for large companies. And what my job boils down to, in the final analysis on an everyday basis, is ensuring that this natural gas can be as cheaply and efficiently delivered as possible. Now, what you think of that depends on what you think about natural gas. Some people would say that natural gas is a good thing in the sense that natural gas has fewer carbon emissions than coal. Right? Now, this tends to be where I fall, of course, because on the whole, natural gas seems to put out about half as much in terms of carbon emissions as coal. Right? That's not always the case, but I think in general it is. Now, this can be something that is what's the word here? This can be minimized, or this advantage over coal can be minimized or lost if you have, say, a really leaky pipeline and the natural gas escapes from the pipeline or from the wellhead source. Because when it's not burned, the natural gas actually seems to be more destructive in terms of carbon output. But once you burn the natural gas, it is much less destructive in terms of carbon output than coal. So, Pezzi says up to 9.5% of natural gas developed gets leaked into the atmosphere. I don't know if it's that high, but I believe it is, in an efficient pipeline, still around 2 to 3%. If we could have regulations that would help minimize that lost and unaccounted for gas, particularly if we could require pipelines to handle that. It would make our gas cost a little more, probably, but on the whole, it would be better for the environment and probably better for customers, I think, if, ultimately they didn't have to just, because they're ultimately paying for the price of that lost gas. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a big part of what I do, is trying to deliver people natural gas cheaply and efficiently. I think it's a good thing, because I think on the whole, the main reason that America's emissions have gone down, let's see, and let me see if I can demonstrate this. Let's see here, carbon emissions in the United States. Okay. Okay, so take a look at this, folks. In the United States, I think this is from the Energy Information Administration, carbon emissions from power have gone down considerably. Transportation's been pretty flat, industry has declined slightly, and buildings have declined slightly. And I think a huge reason for that amounts to natural gas. Let me see if I can demonstrate a little more about this here. Okay. Right here, here's kind of a matchup of the United States with some of our international rivals and friends. World fossil carbon dioxide emissions 1970 to 2018. You'll see the United States has actually been relatively flat as a whole during this time in terms of carbon dioxide emissions. But again, since 2005, we've seen a real decline in these emissions. Again, this may not look like much on the chart, but remember, this is a real decline in a period of time in which the United States has been party basically to no international treaties. We ignored Kyoto, and we're about to leave, if we haven't already left, the Paris Climate Agreement, right? So the United States has been thumbing its nose at the world, and yet it's cut emissions a little more as a whole than Europe has, as India has increased, China, of course, has increased, and all of that. The United States here, you'll see a slight uptick at the end. This is since President Trump has taken office. I'm not sure why. I believe he's loosened some of the regulations on natural gas, for example. But yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm just not a big expert on what's happened there in the last couple of years. But what happened in 2005, folks? Let's take a look at what happened in 2005, because 2005 is a big year. Let me see if I can demonstrate this.
I have to keep listening to this. I have so many things that I need to
2005 as far as energy goes.
I have so many things that I need to do and get packed and get ready for Iowa and everything tomorrow. But General Soleimani was killed in Iran, and this is happening. So
tanked after 2005. They spiked briefly in 2008, but then they tanked, and they've been much lower ever since. And this is super important, folks, because this is something that we've seen not just in the United States, but really globally in Europe. Japan, on the other hand, being an isolated island country, doesn't have the same advantages. They need more, I'd argue, of let's see here. They need a little bit more of the liquefied natural gas that somebody in the chat, that G. Diddy mentioned here. But since 2005, the United States has seen declines here in price, and then since 2008, these declines in price have really stuck. So for the last 10, 11 years, the United States has had some of the lowest natural gas prices in the world, and these prices are so low that they probably are the single biggest reason, I'd argue, that the nuclear renaissance that a lot of people talked about, the idea that we'd have a second round of nuclear power plant building in this country, why that renaissance never took off. Some of the failures of nuclear power plants in terms of cost overruns also worked against that. But I think for the most part, natural gas prices being as low as they are, thanks largely to fracking, collective, absolutely. A huge reason for that is fracking, which has cut natural gas prices. Those cut natural gas prices have in turn driven coal into a corner. And for those out there who think that President Trump is a good president, look, whatever you think about President Trump, he is demonstrably wrong about one notion, which is that coal is being attacked by solar. It is just not. And let me see if I can demonstrate this here. Okay. Find a good chart here. All right. There we
I'll
go.
be having
History
a
of
conversation
energy
with Bastier
consumption
soon.
in the United States.
I should be taking notes.
Ladies and gentlemen,
actually.
here is an example of energy consumption in the U.S. since apparently 1776. How good is that? I mean, I love how wood is on here. Apparently, we're burning as much wood in the United States for energy as we were burning, I guess, around the time of the Civil War or something. So that's pretty interesting. If we haven't got rid of wood generation yet, I get the feeling we're not going to be getting rid of fossil fuels for some time. But of course, that's probably just a meme. I think wood may be a reference to biomass plants. I'm not sure. These are plants that destroy, rather that burn detritus like leaves and wood chips and down trees and just kind of biological detritus. They burn it for fuel. So. Now, you'll see right here, at demonstration, what P. Smash said. Coal is being attacked by the power of free market natural gas. And right here, you can see it. The decline in coal has been precipitous. And it's been precipitous since 2005. You can see the correlation here is remarkable. Natural gas and coal right at the same time. Right at the same time. As natural gas goes up, coal plummets. And renewables have been on the uptick as well, but they've been on the uptick for a longer period of time. So other renewables have definitely contributed to the loss of coal, but I think on the whole, the big killer, what has really kneecapped coal, what has ensured that coal is never coming back, is natural gas, which is generally, I'd say, unsubsidized, at least in the sense that it's got some unique subsidy that coal doesn't have. So the notion of what constitutes an energy subsidy is kind of a difficult question, but I would argue that natural gas and coal don't really get much in the way of different subsidies, and yet coal has crashed while natural gas has surged. And that is chiefly, I believe, and I think this has been borne out by the data, the result of this crash in prices in natural gas during the same period of time, right? The other thing is that we've got so much natural gas in this country. We have so much that even at current demand, I've seen estimates that we'll have natural gas to burn here for the next 100, even 200 years. So cheap natural gas doesn't seem like it's going anywhere anytime soon. Now, depending on what you think, that's either a good thing or a terrible thing. Because, again, if you look at the uptick in natural gas since this time, and you look at the uptick of natural gas, especially since the 1980s when prices were first deregulated, I mean, it's just really taken off. Petroleum has gone down, coal has gone down, nuclear has flatlined, hydroelectric has flatlined, and hydroelectric is very interesting because hydroelectric resources in this country, I believe we've, for the most part, and maybe Touring News, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I believe we've pretty well tapped all of the hydroelectric power resources we can. There may be something to be said about wave energy that I just don't know much about, but in terms of damming rivers, there either are not many more to dam, or the ones that we could still dam would come at a huge environmental cost in their own right. So hydroelectric, I'd say, is flat now, and it's probably going to be flat for a long time. So, because again, there's just not much more to build. And there are some states where there's just, you're never going to be able to build more. Like Florida, Texas, these are flat states without much in the way of more resources. So something to think about there. Coupe du jour says, this stream brought to you by ExxonMobil. We're going to talk about ExxonMobil. Eddie EGT says, hydroelectric actually absolutely destroys river ecosystems. As an ecologist, it's really sad. Yeah, and there are hydroelectric plants that have like fish ladders now. They don't completely destroy ecosystems in the sense of, they can still provide for fish migration, things like that. But there's just no substitute.
I am reading everything that you all are saying. I'm trying to listen intently. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to plan what I have to do. I'm thinking about Iran. I'm thinking about Iraq.
Say nothing of the human environment.
Yes, there's a lot happening right now around the world. And I'm also supposed to go on Amy's show in 25 minutes. I have not packed it all for Iowa. I'm doing a 16-hour fundraiser tomorrow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'll get to the how do I pronounce detritus, Beef Smash?
Oh, it's not that it's his main argument. He is an attorney in the fossil fuel industry, specifically in the natural gas industry. So I made some comments that I think that he is killing people by his work, and my association with him would be different moving forward. It was my hottest take of all time. I actually said that he is killing people because of the work that he's doing. So I really need to intently listen to like his work tonight.
About my thinking of fossil fuels and then how I'm involved. I think that's what. Oh my goodness! All right, we gotta settle this question here. Detritus. All right, detritus. That's what we do. Detritus. Okay. All right. It's a Friendly says, now the interesting talk is what oil can be used for that natural gas cannot replace. Yeah, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, and it is everywhere. Bush 1900, and I'm going to be speaking to Dylan and I may be speaking to Dylan and Bastier about this tonight. So there's just a ton happening in the world right now. I have a lot that I need to do, but yeah.
It's made out of petroleum, heavy fuel, jet fuel right now, for example. There's no... the technology for electrification of aircraft is just not where it needs to be yet. It's, it's getting, progress is being made, but... okay. So my general take on energy is this. We have a few options for dealing with climate change, which I believe is absolutely real. And for me, the ultimate proof is the fact that in the 1970s, experts at ExxonMobil, who had every incentive to try and prove that this was not true, nevertheless internally knew that climate change was happening. And whatever the board of directors believed, they had research at the time in the 1970s demonstrating that this was going to happen. I also found a study yesterday that I want to really dig into that discussed what the Soviet Union thought about climate change. And I think this is important because...
yes, this is true.
The Soviet Union had as much incentive as the United States, arguably more so as a command economy, not to want climate change to be real. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how they addressed, at the high level research level, how they addressed climate change. Were there people there who were like, no, we don't want this to be real, ignore it, because of course the Soviet Union had some serious problems of pollution in its own right. So, Hardware BBQ, good to have you, buddy.
I'm gonna work on it for you,
Streams. So I absolutely, one, believe that climate change is real. And two, that something needs to be done about it relatively quickly. You going to bed?
I think I'm live on YouTube and on Twitter, by the way, everybody. Can somebody go to my Twitter? I should be live there, I think.
Pushko asks, Russia has tons of frozen land. Won't they benefit massively from climate change? I think the climate is more complex than that. So, and that's my fiance, by the way. That's Miss Sebastia. We haven't set a date yet, but hopefully next year. So, give your mommy a smack in the bottom from Pete with love. Holy moly! All right. So, let me get to.
I forgot to hook Mixer up.
My view on fossil fuels.
Sorry.
Yeah, I think like touring news says, it's pretty complicated for them. Say the least. On the one hand, they'll have a new coastline in the north. On the other hand, a lot of the land that is going to be unfrozen is not. It's still not going to be good. And Russia's going to have all new problems that they really haven't dealt with in the degree to which they will have to deal with them, like mosquitoes, for example. So, anyway, let's see here.
Climate change is very complicated for Russia. I'll answer this in a little bit.
Climate change. So I agree that it's real. I don't know whether the worst estimates are right, but I'd be willing to bet that they are. And I think we need to do something about it very quickly. So I don't know that there's much argument there from me on that. To me, the real argument comes down to what to do about it. Because I believe it's absolutely happening. At the same time, I typically believe that I know that I am not going to suffer a reduction in living standards personally. I'm not going to voluntarily say, all right, you know what? I know the Earth's going to burn, so I need to reduce my living standards basically for the rest of my life. Because this is going to be something we're all going to be dealing with for the rest of our lives. I'm not willing to stop flying. which is probably the single most important thing any of us could do with respect to improving the climate, is to stop flying. You're literally injecting the worst kinds of hydrocarbon pollution directly into the upper atmosphere when you fly. So it's terrible for the environment. And yet, I want to go to Europe someday. I want to visit my relatives around the country. So that's never ending. That's never even going to decline. Even in Sweden, where there is a widespread feeling.
Thank you so much for the donation.
I don't know about widespread, but
I
where
wish
there
I could
is
thank you more right now. I
widespread
just have to
feeling
hear
about the
this.
environment, it's still, the decline has been. I don't even know if they've seen one yet. Epic Memes now says, Bashiad, right, America is a shithole country with no alternatives to flying. I have to say, if you can call the United States of America a shithole country, I gotta know what kind of golden utopia you live in, my friend. But all the same, welcome Epic Memes, wow. As far as train travels go, look, the United States is a big country, and maybe it's great to travel around Germany by train. Germany is a small country, thanks in part to the efforts of the United States. But, hey, it's good that Germany has a good train system. On the other hand, traveling from, say, east to west is in the United States, is a really, really big endeavor. It takes a lot of time. Even on a high-speed train, it'd take a damn bunch of time. Whereas, traveling from one side to the other here now is, of the United States here, it takes an afternoon. Now, Dalter says stop flying is one of your top solutions. For an individual, absolutely. Stop flying and stop driving. That's probably the two biggest things you, as an individual, can do. Now, it's not practical, though, especially in the United States. If you live in a big city and you don't need to travel around the world too much, yeah, maybe you can stop flying and stop driving. But for most Americans, that's just not happening. And Deep State, we're going to talk about that real soon. Now, there are things you can do. You can buy a hybrid car, for example. I do that. I brought a hybrid car. It's a lot of fun. I like driving it. It cost about $4,000 or $5,000 more than a regular car would, but that's what it is. And why do people add words to these chill tracks? I don't want your words. I just want the chill music. Okay, so
now I hear your frames.
I don't believe
I'm with you.
That any arguments that require Americans to sustain a serious loss in their living standards are really going to take flight. I think the best you could do is raise taxes to some degree on Americans to try and then deal with climate change. On
you see the news?
Yeah, I did.
Did you see? Dude, this is. I cannot over. This is. Whoa.
Yeah, did they? Has anybody claimed responsibility for the attack? Have you? No. I've been listening to Bastier and not reading this. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So this person, it most likely was the U.S. and everybody. It looks like everybody's acknowledged it's already the U.S. I'm just waiting for an official statement, but. What we just did would be like if they assassinated Mattis or like an American general, the level of what we just did.
Yeah, actually, yesterday I did a 5.5-hour stream on Iraq, and we really looked into like IRGC flipping the assets and how they were involved or are involved in the militias and the Kataib Hezbollah and everything. So, I'm pretty familiar with who the general is, yeah, and I understand how important this is on a national scale.
Okay, this guy, he's literally one of the most important people in the Middle East. Like this guy orchestrates basically all of Iran's foreign policy when it comes to proxies in Yemen and Syria. When it comes to influence in Iraq, he orchestrated like the Iran's like plan of influence in Iraq, which was released in the Iran cables. This guy, if what we see is happening, what we just did was just in response to what happened to the embassy, basically killed the orchestrators of their influence in Iraq, which I understand the reason why they would do it. And trust me, this guy's a horrible monster, right? I'm not going to say that it's somebody who didn't maybe deserve it, right? But doing this is a gigantic escalation. And from what I just heard I was just looking at somebody just said on Twitter, somebody who think he was followed by the Intercept, I forgot his name, but he said that the person was talking to an expert in the region that he thought personally this was like somebody assassinated Mattis, and the response he gave was, no, this is much worse. Like this
Yeah,
guy.
I kind of agree. I kind of agree that he was more I would say he's more influential than Mattis, because this is
Extremely.
because he was outside of the purview. This would be like taking out like a, maybe similar to like a CIA head.
This would be like, to me, this would almost be like if somebody killed Hillary Clinton during the Obama administration.
Okay, yeah, like a Secretary of State. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I mean, he's not Secretary of State yet, but it's
right,
like that level of
no,
importance.
but yeah. I agree with this.
I'm. Thanks for the follow. We're all gonna die. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out what the reaction will be, and my brain immediately followed on, and I said what my reaction, what I think the reaction going to be. Then I looked at what everybody was saying, and basically what I said was what everybody's saying. They're most likely going to attack, in my opinion, American resources or like troops, directly. Or maybe not direct, maybe with like proxies, but reining back militias was basically direct. This is terrifying. This right now is the closest we have ever been to war with Iran, in my opinion, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I think so. I think, well, I think Iran will potentially keep trying to goad us into war with them on their territory. Well, I think that they know that. I mean, okay, they can like disrupt us. They can disrupt shipping lanes, but the way to beat us would be to get us to try to go into their territory.
The thing is not. The thing is, that's not. They're not going to beat us. And okay, so the whole reason why this guy was so important is because he was doing a strategy that Iran could actually confront us, not directly but through proxies.
Yeah.
That was actually viable, and he was the person who's basically forming and continuing this foreign policy on this front for years now. This was somebody who could be the head of the IRGC if he wanted to, and he was seen as a possible successor to head the IRGC, which is probably the most powerful political organization within, and military organization within Iran, right? That's the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. With him being killed, and he's also really good friends with the supreme leader, with the leader of Iran. So that's just killing him kills the leader of all these plans that they need to confront America in a proxy fashion like they have been. Kills the person who's constructed that almost single-handedly, and that could easily turn Iran into like a state of panic and responding. Not to mention their leader's good friends with him, so the emotions are going to be riding high. This is someone that they see as like a martyr. This is somebody who, without this person, Iranian foreign policy as it is right now doesn't really exist.
No, I completely agree with you. Yeah, I don't want to say like what I think is going to happen next, because I think that there's so many things that can happen. And like Iraq is very unstable at the moment, and that's not going to get any better with this. This is going to lead to like more of a fracturing, even within Iraq as well.
Someone just told me that oil's already up 2%.
Well, all right, there you go.
There you go. Okay, so today I played I wore a funny hat, played video games, talked about my time on the microphone campaign, and was up long enough to watch the world end. So that was my stream today.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be packing for Iowa, but then I saw a tweet from Bastier that he was talking about what he does in the energy industry, and then this happened, and Amy wants me to come onto her show for a little bit at 9:30. So. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, when you understand how this goes, like you're going to be working with foreign policy for a long time in your life. Your clock does not stop. There are going to be times in your life where you're just going to have to be up and go.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And this is one of the, I mean, well, obviously, like it's one of the biggest stories of the year because, like, the calendar just changed. But what I wanted to say was, if this happened on December 30th, it would still be one of the biggest stories of the calendar year. So there's people that may think that like one of the two of us are blowing it out of proportions. This is like a massive like development, especially on foreign policy, especially with what has happened lately, with the pulling out of the JCPOA, with the sanctions, with unemployment in Iran, with unemployment in Iraq, with what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz, like with the Yemen conflict, with the Libyan conflict. Yeah, so there's a lot happening.
I would say that war right now depends on Iranian restraint.
Oh yeah, I did want to ask like one thing. Is there any kind of evidence that it is us?
I mean, everybody's reporting it as.
I've only seen reports that it's happened. I haven't seen anything saying it was us.
I honestly, like, I can say right now, there is no reason why anybody else would do this or would have the capacity to do it in Baghdad. Who else could have? The only person who could have had the capacity to maybe do it in Baghdad that I could think of would have been Iran or maybe Russia, but maybe, I mean, like that. Then that's getting conspiratorial at that point.
I mean, I'm not going to. I won't comment on who I think that it is until like I kind of find out that it is, because like it would be speculating.
I agree, but I mean that's Fox News right there.
Yeah, somebody linked me a clip from Fox. Hey, I watch a lot of opposition news, so
yeah. I mean, I'm not going after you for watching Fox, but I mean, I'm pretty confident that this is it. I'm pretty confident it is U.S. This aligns perfect, dude. If okay,
no,
if
I'm agreeing with you that it appears that it would be there. Now the only I don't want to like talk about who else it could be, because then I'm gonna have to be getting into very like conspiratorial waters as to why they'd be doing it. But so I'm gonna wait until it comes.
The only other force I commented that it could be that would make sense, and thank you Duke for following. We're all gonna die. Was the IDF, the Israeli Defense Forces.
But
I mean,
I'm not gonna. I'll wait.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I'll just wait. You know. I'm not in any kind of hurry to rush to judgment. I will just say that there's a lot that's happened. Oh, wow. Oh, man. I have to learn about YouTube chat. Yes, I just started to read my YouTube chat. I started multi-streaming today. So I'm broadcasting live on YouTube.
Okay. I just got something.
Oh, okay.
I just got this from a tweet, so I don't know how. This is from Reuters, though. He's from Reuters, so I doubt he's lying. And he just covers foreign policy. It's Idris Ali. U.S. officials tell Reuters that strikes have been carried in Baghdad on Friday out against 2 targets linked to Iran.
Can you... who's the tweet by?
Idris Ali, he's from Reuters. IDREES space ALI.
Okay, thank you. U.S. officials tell Reuters that strikes have been carried in Baghdad on Friday against 2 targets linked to Iran, and that would be... It's
the
Friday,
2 people that was
Friday
killed.
Tomorrow, right? Yeah, but it's tomorrow. I just had to think of like the dates and all this kind of stuff. Thank you.
Well, that was
Midnight
1 hour
Minute
ago,
for a
so,
host.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Oh.
Hello. I just started reading. I'm learning how to read all these different things.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Somebody asked me, would Israel have the capacity to do this?
Yes,
I don't know.
100%.
I mean, 100%. They would, but would they? I don't really think
they've confirmed strikes at El Qaim this year on the border of Iraq and Syria, and it's really not that much hard. And they have F-35s.
They have the ability to do it, but it doesn't make sense. It makes so much more sense that after the embassy attack that we would be the ones to do this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm just gonna wait until that, and I'll say that there's things coming afterwards. Yeah. Well, anything else that you have on your mind?
I mean, not really anymore.
My Turkish friend, who I presume is reading local Turkish news, is saying they might also have captured the head of Iraqi Hezbollah as well. This is coming from another. It's coming from another Twitch streamer.
No, that I haven't heard about.
It's coming from True Leveler, who he's like really, he's a good source. I trust him as a source. Breaking: U.S. officials tell Reuters they carried out strikes in Baghdad tonight against 2 targets linked to Iran. Iraq government identified the targets killed as IRGC leader Qasem Soleimani and Kataib Hezbollah leader Muhandis. But then it's down to ... So yeah, it kind of does seem to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet something out. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like having to use Twitter.
Yeah, I gotta tweet something out.
I spend so much time thinking about what I want to tweet before I like actually tweet it. So, airstrikes at the. I may get going and get back to some other stuff.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to bother you about that.
Yeah, of course. And how long are you going to be in Baltimore for?
I don't know. I'll have it to you by tomorrow morning. Okay.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome, man. See you later.
Okay. So I am trying to read the other places. If you ask me, Jimmy Baker, I have now begun to read YouTube chat. So if anybody out there is in the YouTube world or the Twitter world or any of these like kind of worlds, hello to all of you. Now I can catch up here a little bit. Tim94 Berlin. How are you doing? Hello, Mossy. Thank you very much, Midnight Minute, for the host. I appreciate that. How are you doing? Can somebody type out Midnight Minute's stream title a couple times? Or stream link, please, a few times. We're still from Europe at the moment. UK, we have the same opinion on it. Who in their right mind is pro-American adventure? Yeah. I'm doing well. A lot happening today. I think I'm just gonna retweet this one because it's this is good enough. Breaking official. Yeah, this is a really good enough tweet. Oh, so okay, so it's this tweet that's being retweeted. Retweet with comment. Working further to confirm, but this does seem to be a U.S. strike. Live right now on multiple platforms discussing. Twitch.tv/the midnight. Yeah, sorry, you have to do it that way. I'll have the bot working by tomorrow. Oh, and I was supposed to be doing bots for tomorrow too. Did I see what Trump just tweeted? No. No, do I really want to see this? He tweeted an American flag. Well, okay, I mean, I think that this is his excellent, Riot Coder. This is, confirmation. Jesus. Alright, hey, everybody, don't forget to follow the channel. Thank you for the multi-stream welcome. Oh, man, life is getting hectic. Oh, jeez. So this is what my restream chat looks like. Nothing has changed, like, yet from the restream, but thank you for the follow. Sidrap for now. Here are the polls if anybody was interested. Is Touring News still correct in his criticism of Bastier? Oh no! And oh no! Oh my gosh. Oh man. I have never been so overloaded with information during a streaming time. Just an odd thought, but is there any possible correlation between these strikes being publicized and opinions about the war in Afghanistan? I don't think there is. No, I don't really think that there is. Jeez. Oh, man. Bastier. Oh, man. Check Trump's Twitter. I just saw it. Okay, this has to come back here. I need to check my Discord for Amy. Okay, now I need to go back into Bastier's VOD and try to catch up. I'm not sure when I can go on to talk to him.
All right. Well, right now, if I live in an area...
All right, so I need to go to videos. I need to get Bastier's VOD.
in the costumes. with the bullhorns just shouting about the corruption and FERC and the way they're prioritizing oil and all of that. And Pascal, I don't need to compare them in any way other than to just say that, just to say that, they do what I do with skepticism. I don't need to compare touring news in any other. Is that coal is being attacked by solar? It is just not. Oil can be used for it, natural gas cannot replace. Yeah, that's a whole other issue I'm probably not qualified to speak on, but basically, petroleum is used not just for burning, but for manufacturing. Like our electronic products are, plastic, things like that. I mean, it's made out of petroleum, heavy fuel, jet fuel right now, for example. There's no, the technology for electrification of aircraft is just not where it needs to be yet. It's getting, progress is being made. But, okay. So my general take on energy is this. We have a few options for dealing with climate change, which I believe is absolutely real. And for me, the ultimate proof is the fact that in the 1970s, experts at ExxonMobil, had every incentive to try and prove Russia has tons of frozen land, won't they benefit massively from climate change? I think the time is that, I know that I am not going to suffer reduction in living standards personally. I'm not going to... I have to say, if you can call the United States of America a shithole country, I gotta know what kind of golden...
Alright, this is right about where we left off before. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. Bear with me today. A lot on my mind. I'm really trying to process a lot of information.
You can buy a hybrid car, for example. I do that. I bought a hybrid car. It's a lot of fun. I would drive it. It costs about $4,000 or $5,000 more than a regular car would, but that's what it is. And why do people add words to these chill tracks? I don't want your words. I just want the chill music. Okay, so I don't believe that any arguments that require Americans to sustain a serious loss in their living standards are really going to take flight. I think the best you could do is raise taxes to some degree on Americans to try and then deal with climate change on like a meta level. But I don't believe that we can ever really expect to reduce our standard of living. I don't even believe we can argue, make the arguments that some people have made, including, say, Greta Thunberg, but, she's not the first to make this point. I don't believe in even zero economic growth. I think that to say zero economic growth, assuming we've still got a population that is growing, or even just not declining, to see zero economic growth is basically to give up on another fundamental part of what it is to be human, at least in the United States, and that is to hope for a better future for the next generation, economically, in terms of your standard of living. Now, you might say, well, we can rethink society, we can change it so that, we don't value all these material goods in the same way that we do. We value experiences more than we value things, and that we can leave a better future of our planet to our children rather than a higher material standard of living. I don't think that's happening either. Certainly not in any appreciable period of time. I don't think it's possible to persuade, and frankly, I don't think it's desirable to persuade. So basically, I believe in technological solutions, and I believe in government-driven adoption of renewables and nuclear power. And that is my take on climate change. I think it's absolutely real, and some of the most terrifying estimates are probably correct. And yet, I think the only way out is for the government to incentivize the further adoption of renewables and nuclear power. So that's what I think about renewables and about climate change. And nuclear power is an important part of that. Nuclear power is the most controversial element, probably, of that. And I think for anybody who gets to know me and gets to know kind of my thinking about the environment, my take on nuclear power should probably be the most controversial part of what I believe with respect to the environment, because nuclear power is... Okay, let's get some good music here. Lo-fi... See some lo-fi music. Got it straight here, by the way. Thank you, Trizati. I appreciate that. All right, we'll get the... here we go. Okay, there's some good lo-fi chill music. All right. So nuclear power, I think, is probably the most controversial thing that I advocate for, I think. Because I don't think there's anything controversial about my other point, which is we need a gradual drawdown on fossil fuels. I don't think we can just pull the rug out from under it. And as far as fossil fuel subsidies, those are an interesting point. So what are fossil fuel subsidies? Fossil fuels... Okay, let's take a look at this.
Dan Rhodes. If you can hear me.
Okay.
Dan Rhodes.
So
wow, I have not said hello to you in a very, very long time. Hello. Good day to you.
G20 leaders pledged to phase out fossil fuel subsidies. Very little concrete actions followed since. Part of the reason for this failure is that there is not clarity on how much of our money governments provide in fossil fuel subsidies. 3/4 of a trillion, perhaps a trillion or more. Right? This very good-looking chart comes down to this.
Hello, YouTube as well.
Right? So this is literally when the government is
I'm the guy in the corner.
Incentivize people to produce, energy, and then $45 billion in consumption subsidies in developing countries. And I would imagine this is tax credits and things like that. The overwhelming bulk of it is consumption subsidies in developing countries. So this is when, you look at a country like, say, Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia deeply subsidizes the cost of gasoline, making it basically almost free. I think Iran does the same thing. And it's, the numbers here vary a lot, but I think a whole lot of what you believe on fossil fuel subsidies comes down to what you prioritize. If you're talking about $45 billion in, say, consumption subsidies in developing countries, most of it's not being direct money transfers, but at best, tax credits here. It's just a relative. And most of you're saying World War III about to start. I'm not sold that World War III is literally about to start. All right, so let me finish my talk about energy here, and then we'll start talking about World War III. But hey, we're talking about energy and climate tonight. I don't care who the United States bombed. I am finishing my talk. This season, those ends. Good to have you, buddy. So subsidies are a big thing, but I'll tell you right now, I don't think it's $45 billion in subsidies that have made natural gas as cheap as it is, because again, this is a multi-billion dollar industry, right? And you don't need to subsidize the price of natural gas because it is already cheap AF. So something to think about there. So I don't think that subsidies for the most part are the problem, except the huge subsidies in developing countries for consumption. But at the same time, how can you fault somebody for wanting to subsidize the cost of an essential service or an essential fuel item in a developing country? They don't want to live in miserable conditions. They want to be able to live the lives that we live. So those subsidies play a big part, but for me, I don't know that, to get your question, Kern, whether Congress would change much if these subsidies were shifted to renewable energy. For example, if you think of a developing country, and again, it's in developing countries that most of these subsidies exist. In a developing country, if you are literally shifting that money into renewables, you are taking a hammer to the kneecap of the standard of living of the people of those countries. And again, if you are doing that outside of an international agreement between all the countries in the world to address this, then you've got a hugely, I'd say, unpopular policy that is not going to last. In essence, you're dealing with, when you're dealing with climate change, probably the ultimate kind of collective action problem. which is to say, if each of us does something, if the United States tomorrow turned the ship around and became fully renewable at great expense to itself, this would feel, I think understandably enough, like we had been cheated if we didn't have an agreement with the other countries in the world that drove them to do the same thing, right? So then take that argument and apply it to a developing country, and imagine how difficult it must be to say, cut those fuel subsidies, let the price of fuel float where it actually should float, because at the end of the day, the planet is burning. Even if those rich Americans don't want to do anything about it, we should anyway. So I think that it's really something to think about there. Okay, so I think nuclear energy is super important. Going renewable when you're not energy efficient is cost efficient at all. Yeah, I can't speak to the efficiency of energy in, the efficiency of energy in, say, the developing world. I don't know much about that. But I do know a little bit about nuclear power. And here's the reason why nuclear power matters so much. Nuclear power matters so much because, at the end of the day, as many problems as it has, and its problems are legion, it's super expensive. It takes too long to build it, although, again, we can definitely build it within, I think, the time frame we need to address climate change meaningfully. It takes a while to build, nevertheless. It's more expensive and difficult than, say, building a new natural gas plant. So it drives your electricity bill up somewhat. It never seems to be able to pay for itself because it can't insure itself fully. And the reason it can't insure itself fully, for example, think about a natural gas plant. If that natural gas plant explodes, the natural gas plant can be insured, so that the cost of that, and, gas plants don't typically just explode, but just as a simple example here, you can insure that plant and guarantee that, okay, the insurance company, can pay for it, or however they insure them, maybe multiple companies are involved, it can be paid for. A nuclear disaster, on the other hand, is an order of magnitude different and far beyond the kind of disaster you can get from, say, a coal plant. Holy mackerel, electric fan, just add airstrike assassination to a stream title. Alright, folks, look, I will try and tie this up so we can get to the World War III here, but I really want to finish this point. Nuclear plants have the risk of disaster, as we saw in Hiroshima, as we saw in Fukushima, all that. But nevertheless, the energy they provide, after everything's built, after everything's in place, is carbon neutral, clean energy. And we need nuclear power because of the simple fact that even when you get all that solar energy, even when you get all those wind turbines up, as good as they are, at certain times, your sun isn't going to be shining, the wind isn't going to be blowing, and you need a baseload source of energy as backup and to supplement the, to supplement the energy generated by renewables. So you can do one of two things. You can build nuclear power plants, or if you don't want to build nuclear power plants, what you can do is you can build natural gas plants that are apparently, I just learned about this a couple of days ago. You can build natural gas plants that apparently put out no carbon.
Yeah, I know that I need to pack, and I also know that I need to do other things, but too many important things are happening. It's just gonna have to be at another time. I may just have to pack on camera tomorrow, because I need to do. I really need to talk to Bastier about this. I had a clip where I said that Bastier was killing people by being a fossil fuel corporate attorney, and they took a poll to find out. Is that true? The poll currently sits at, is Touring News still correct in his criticism of Bastier, his career field, and the blood on his hands? 33% of the 33 people say yes, 15 people say no. So
air pollution because of new advanced forms of carbon sequestration. So those are basically your choices as far as dealing with the fact that renewables alone, in the sense of wind and solar and hydro, typically can't cover. They just can't cover your entire need. There's some countries like Iceland that are blessed with geothermal energy. They probably don't need nuclear power if they can get enough geothermal energy. There are some countries maybe they're small enough to where their resources can be covered by something else. Maybe the hydroelectric dams cover everything. But in the United States, that's just not the reality everywhere. Especially down in the South, where there are no hydroelectric resources, you need other sources to fill that gap. So I believe that we need fossil fuels in the meantime, and if we're not going to suffer a drastic decrease in our standard of living, to say nothing of the standard of living of people in developing countries all over the world, we can't just end them overnight. What we can do is we can work on replacing them through generous subsidies. We can work on phasing out. Our existing fuel mix with tax credits and, again, direct subsidies. We can work on replacing and ending coal once and for all. We can work on then getting natural gas plants more efficient with carbon sequestration, and then we can work on replacing them maybe altogether. We can't get sequestration just right with nuclear power plants. Right? All that's going to take money. All that's going to take higher taxes and an increase in electricity bills. But all of that is a whole lot more practical than trying to get rid of fossil fuels overnight, which is not going to happen. Frankly, if it did, we'd suffer rolling blackouts. We would suffer the kind of problems that countries like Germany, for example, have suffered. When they tried to get rid of nuclear, this is a little different. This wouldn't happen if you got rid of fossil fuels. This shows kind of the problem with skepticism of nuclear power. Germany got rid of all its nuclear plants. And what happened after Germany did that? Let me pull up the link here. Let's see here. Let's see what happened here. I just pull up the link here just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I really need this. Okay, so this is a study I found today. In this study, we looked at the costs of getting rid of nuclear power in Germany. Right? All right. So what happened in Germany? Karen says, "Can you blame Germany for getting rid of nuclear?" Absolutely. Here's what happened when we got rid of nuclear energy. Okay. Germany got rid of all its nuclear plants after Fukushima in Japan in 2011. That was a tsunami that cracked a nuclear power plant, caused leakage of radiation. Presumably, we'd like to build our nuclear plants in places other than that. Many countries have phased out nuclear electricity production in response to concerns about nuclear waste and the risk of accidents. This paper examined the impact of the shutdown of roughly half nuclear production capacity in Germany after the Fukushima incident in 2011. We used hourly data on power plant operations and a novel machine learning framework to estimate how plants would operate differently if the phase out had not occurred. We find that the lost nuclear energy production due to phase out was replaced primarily by coal-fired production and net electricity imports. The social cost of the shift from nuclear coal is approximately $12 billion a year. Over 70% of this cost comes from increased mortality risk associated with exposure to low-grade pollution emitted when burning fossil fuels. So that's what happened at the end of the day when Germany scrapped its nuclear plants. And frankly, that's what happens when you try and push coal, because of course, coal is the dirtiest, maybe I'm not sure if it's dirtier than oil, it's certainly dirtier than natural gas. So I'll say this about what I do. I work in the competitive industry sector. I actively participate in trying to persuade state governments to adopt policies that make it possible for companies to compete to provide electricity service, solar panels, natural gas, the full gamut of energy options to individual customers, so that individual customers can then choose to purchase solar energy if they want to. Right now, sometimes that comes at a premium, but sometimes it's actually pretty cheap. Let me see if I can find a source that demonstrates this. Okay, so an example of a market that I am interested in here is, let's see. Just sitting here. Oh man, nuance, blah blah, lobbyist for the fossil fuel industry, something like that, huh? Okay. Okay, let me, I'm just working on turning off the rear here so everybody can see this. Okay, so great example of this. I don't live in Texas, so I really don't work on this, but this is a great example of how this works. So, Texas has a competitive energy market, right?
Yes, burnout is a thing. Thank you for being concerned about me. I have experienced burnout before. Typically, I will shut down for like 36 hours and I'll just not really like do much of anything. I'm feeling strong and rested. No, okay, I'm tired. You know, it's late in the evening. I've been up since like early in the day today. But as of right now, thank you. I am okay about the burnout part. Kind of you. Appreciate that. There are just more things that need to be discussed tonight before I go to bed. I'll get a good night of sleep, and then tomorrow will be a new day.
It was a little wonky when it was first rolled out in 2001, but since then it's made a lot of progress. This is a way to buy your energy through a capitalistic framework. What is that about? Okay?
So we're
at Texas zip code.
We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes. That's not what I wanted to hit. Videos. Are you going to give the newer one? No? Maybe I have to go to your actual channel first.
The prospect of war with Iran. Dylan, I feel like I should be panicking, but I don't know enough about this to panic. So can you scare
Dylan
me?
On with Basti?
Can you let me know what I am missing here?
Okay, so
let me 113.
Look at all this here. We got we got Volt, Southern Federal, Brilliant Energy, Allego Energy, Infuse Energy. These are some these are some competitive offers. You see, they compete on prices, on cancellation fees, on the amount of renewable content, all that, right? New Jersey has this as well, but their system is not nearly as good as Texas. Texas is pretty much the only working competitive market in the country. What I like to try and do is advise people to adopt a more Texas-like model. Right here, let me show you what we can do here. Let's say I want to buy renewable energy. All right. Well, right now, if I live in an area without competitive options, I basically have to wait for my local utility to bring me solar energy. Here in Texas, all I got to do is ask for fully renewable energy. And look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you saw this, but let's check this out. Right now, if I don't care about the environment, doesn't matter to me. I can pay 6.6 cents for a fixed rate plan for 3 months. Let me see if I can get a 12-month plan. That sounds a little more reasonable. 12-month plan. Estimated use. Let's say I'm going to burn a lot of energy. I'm going to use 12. Let's see. I'm going to use 12 months. Okay. All right. So look at this. I'm going to burn that much energy. 9.2 cents. For a 100% renewable offer, that's 9.2 cents for this kind of energy use, for 100% renewable offer, 12 months. That's 9.2 cents a kilowatt hour. Well, let's say that I want to, use a little bit less. I want to be more efficient, right? Let's see what I can do. Okay, it's still 9.2 cents here, but that's because it's a 12-month deal. Suppose I want to play the market a little more often. I'm really, I'm peep smash here. I really like to invest directly, right? I really like to be careful about them. Well, look at this. I can get a non-renewable offer for 6.6 cents. Now, let's say I want that 100% renewable then, right? I'm really concerned about the environment. I want that 100% renewable come with me. Look at that. 3 months, 6.8 cents a kilowatt hour, right? Now, look, this company, their scores on customer complaints, on the other hand, are pretty low. It looks like this company probably cut some corners in terms of responding to your complaints. Maybe you care about that, maybe you don't. All right? Well, if you want to deal with that, let's say I want a good company rating. I want at least 4 stars, right? I want my electricity like I'm on my Airbnb. Well, look at that, ladies and gentlemen, right here. For about a penny and a quarter more, I get this company, good customer service, 100% renewable, 6-month rate, 7.8 cents a kilowatt hour. Look at that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I just got 100% of my electricity from the competitive free market. So, folks, that's the kind of stuff that I'm interested in and that I do for a living. I try and advocate for competitive solutions to energy problems. You know, I try to make it easier for individuals to choose their own electricity supplier, which makes it, as I've demonstrated here, easier to choose to buy electricity on your own that is absolutely and fully renewable, right? So it's not perfect. Systems like these do not work all the time. When they were first devised in the late 90s, early 2000s, there were some big failures. Enron was an example of a big failure. The market design in California was pretty poor. It was easily gained, and Enron was a failing company that decided to take advantage of that market and ruin it. Therefore, setting the cause of competitive energy back 20 years. So that's wild, right? Enron really tanked this industry when it first got off the ground. Right? Over the 20 years since, people learned a lot. They built new and different markets. They don't work for Enron. Enron actually is gone. I thought about buying the Enron website just for fun because it was available for sale one day, but I figured it was too meaty. But yeah, there are a lot of wonderful competitive companies too that have popped up since that provide great customer service, great prices, and renewable energy in the process, right? And they allow you to choose if you want that renewable energy. And the reason this is important is not everywhere allows you to just so easily purchase solar panels and put them on your roof. There are some states that make it actively difficult for you to do this. For example, in say Florida, the law is set up in such a way that you have to put the money down for the solar panel. You can't pay back the solar panel by purchasing the electricity the panel generates. So something to think about there. But in short, that's what I do. I advocate for competitive markets in electricity and natural gas, and I think they help the world in 2 ways. 1, by making it easier for you to buy electricity renewably on your own as you see fit, and 2, by making it easier to buy cheap natural gas, which I think is a good replacement for coal and a good bridge fuel to a renewable nuclear-powered future. So take advantage of all that information and think about it as you see fit. It's up to you. At the end of the day, whether you think what I do is right or wrong, but that is probably the best explanation I can give for what I do and why I think that it contributes rather than detracts from the world at large. So that's what I think. Tony Buster says, so you live in Texas. I will neither confirm nor deny where I live. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that's what I think about it. Let's check out this poll. Let's check out this poll here and see what Tony thinks about what I just had to say in this clip. All right, take a clip, ladies and gentlemen.
Here are the polls if anybody was interested. Is Touring News so correct in his criticism of Bastier? Oh no! Oh no! Oh my gosh! Oh man! I have never been so overloaded with information during streaming time. Here are the polls. If anyone was
All right, folks. So make it out what you will. Stretch. It's good to have you stretch, but please talk about my hole a little less. That's a little intense, don't you think? Okay. So that's a long short of it. I've also been involved in
there's a lot happening.
laws before that relate to the energy sector. I'm not going to point out which ones, but I have been involved in that. I've gone to court on matters related to the energy sector. Yeah, I'm not going to specify where and when, but I've done that before. And so that's the way I feel about it. I think that what I do probably contributes more than it detracts to the environment in this country. But of course, there are a lot of people who think that, and it's always worth remembering the old maxim that it's very difficult to make a man understand something when his salary depends on him not understanding it. So again, take what I've said as you see fit, and come to your own conclusions. So that's about the size of it. I don't think, by the way, that capitalism can solve climate change on its own. I think capitalism has an important role to play, and I do think that probably given enough time, capitalism could solve it on its own. But of course, the key element of climate change is that we don't really have enough time. And so the point of dealing with, the reason I think government needs to get involved primarily with money, with subsidies, with cash transfers.
All right, everything will go dark for a second.
And means, well, is there any company law that's specific?
I'm just trying to
sure, I probably could. I just never thought about it. Anyway, I like what I do.
I'm having the same problem as Lance because it's being used in a different program. Hello, good evening. Yeah, I forget how to fix this. Does anybody know how to fix this easily? Yeah, I'm using Discord, but I'm also using OBS, and my camera's being used by OBS at the moment. Oh. Wait, I think I know how to. I think I just fixed it. Wait. Yeah, I'll be able to fix mine soon. I'm okay. Yesterday I did a 5.5 hour stream on Iraq and what was happening, so I'm at least like somewhat familiar. I will be back in a second. I'm going to restart my PC because that's how I know to get my camera to work. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'm sorry. All right. Does anybody know how I can actually fix this? No, I don't have to do that. Okay. How can I, Freems, can you call me and tell me what I'm needing to do here? I turned off my video capture device on my Streamlabs. That's been done. So I don't have my video, and should I delete it too? Should I also just delete what's being used? I'll change it to like a different thing as well. Okay, so there's that part done. Now, once I deactivate, now it should work. Here, Freems, I'm gonna try to video call you. Just have to leave Whereby and go back in. I'm sorry, Frames, if this isn't any good for you. Hello. Now, do I want this one? Okay, it works. Okay, so I think I fixed it, right? I only want it on Discord. That's the only place I need it. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. All right, now I need to find Amy's Discord. What's Amy's Discord look like? Amy. Can you see me now? Okay. It should be working now. Damn. Why won't it use my microphone? Yeah, it won't take my video into it. Shit. I'm just not going to be on video. Is that okay with Amy? Is that going to bother them? What? I don't know what to do here. I'm kind of having a panic attack. Well, not a panic attack, but I just don't want to waste everybody's time. Oh, and you can't even see my face on camera right now either. Well, there's an orange face of me. There is me again. Did you fix it? Okay. No, I didn't. On introduction? Okay. Which part of introductions do we click? At the top or at the bottom of the thread? I'll click the link above. Okay. Well, I did. Like I said, I'll just restart my PC. That'll make it work. Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest at the moment. If any of you want to come back to my channel in like a few minutes, that would be cool. If not, well, you're gonna see me there. But I'll be back in just a tiny bit.